Hey everyone, I'm going to be teaching you how to fold my tree swallow today. This is it. Once you'll be done, it will look something like this. We're going to be using 14-inch Japanese foil. It's purple on one side and white on the other side. So let's start. This model has about 45 pre-creasing steps. I planned them all out before taking the video so I could count them. So there's a lot of pre-creasing, so make sure to fold very neatly and you'll have a good result. Let's go. Alright, so I've already folded both diagonals, so you can fold both diagonals. And once you've done that, we're going to fold a kite fold. Okay, so at the point where the kite fold hits the edge, we're going to fold a valley fold perpendicular to the edge. Okay, now we're going to fold the same crease using this intersection point across. Okay, now we're going to fold through this point perpendicular to the diagonal. Alright, now we're going to fold this, leave this folded, and we're going to fold along these edges right here. Double check to make sure it hits right there. Okay, that's perfect. Alright, now I'm going to change direction of these creases because they really should be valley folds and not mountain folds. Okay, now we're going to be putting bisectors in these two triangles. So we'll start by turning it over like this, and then taking this diagonal, and then pleating it like so. Okay, you crease from here to there. Now the same thing on the other side. Okay, now we're going to make a bisector that connects from this point to that point right there. So fold it like so, tap it right there at that point, and make sure this line lines up with this line, and this point meets that other line right there. Okay. And now do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Now we're going to fold. If you imagine this as a smaller square within the big square, we're going to do a blintz fold. So we're going to fold this point to this point here, and this point to there. You only need to fold from this point to that point. Now we're going to fold this one over here actually in this direction. Like that. Alright, now we're going to fold a crease that runs through this point. Okay, now you can leave that folded. We're going to fold from this point up a little bit, so like this. Now you only need to fold up until you meet this first line, where this line runs from here to here, from there to there. That's all you need. And now do the same thing on the other side. Now we're going to fold along this edge right here. Now the easiest way to do that is just to note this point and fold like this, perpendicular to the edge, the outside edge. You only need to fold this crease from this line that we have right here across to the left, like so. And now do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now we're going to do some bisectors. So we'll start by bringing this outside edge to this line. Let's first turn over. So bring this outside edge to this line, like so. And fold from this pre-crease right here across. Now we're going to make a bisector here as well. So for this one, take this outer edge and fold it all the way to this line. And here's your pivot point right here. Just like that. Now let's do the same thing on the other side. Start with this bisector. And then this bisector. Now some more bisectors. We're going to bisect this angle with a crease like this. And do the same thing on the other side. Now, we're going to make two small creases that start from these 2 points and run like this. 2 small creases. The first one begins here. You can start to fold like this, and you'll notice that if you fold this point to this point right here, this spot where this bisector hits the diagonal, you're making a kite fold. It runs all the way to the tip, see? But we only need just right where this point and this point, from here to here. That's all you need. Oh, got it wrong. From this point to here is all you need. Okay, from there to there. Now this crease is similar. You're going to start at that point right here and connect it to the crease we just made. So connect point to point. So now you can see on this side better. this crease and this crease. This one is just a shortened part of a kite fold. Okay, let's do the same thing on this side. So start with this one. From where the diagonal runs, just a little bit to the left of that. And then this fold as well, that connects this point to this point. Okay. These creases. So now we're going to make a bisector between this line and this line. So you're going to bring this point up to that line, and this is your pivot point right there. Just like that. And now you're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so you can see that more clearly here. This kite fold meets there. Gives you that crease, see? And here, this crease. Now we're going to make a crease that goes from this point all the way across to that point on the same side. Got that going all the way across. Now, make a crease that connects from this bisector right here to where this horizontal crease intersects with this bisector right there. And do the same thing on the other side. This crease should actually be a mountain fold on the purple side. Okay, so we've got those creases in. Now, we're going to, this line that we have right here, we're going to fold through that line, just temporarily, and then we're going to fold the line that goes across here. We're going to fold through that, but just up in this area right here. Make a little small crease just like that. Open that up. See, we just made that crease. Half of a square underneath this triangle. And do the same thing on this side. So fold through this line, gently, You don't need to make it sharp. Then fold through this line that we have already. And then just make that little pinch right here. So we've just put in those 2 creases. Now we're going to make a crease that connects the top of this triangle to the top of this triangle, all the way across. You don't need to fold it all the way, just about this much and this much on either side. Now we're going to fold from this point, see this triangle? Right there, straight up, like so. So pinch at that point, right there. See how it meets at this point and this point right here? And now fold it from that point to the left to the line we just made. And do the same thing on the other side. Now we're going to connect the bottom of that line across horizontally like so. Okay. We're going to bring the outside edge to this long crease right there. Start from the outer edge, like that, and fold in until you hit the bisector. That's right there, that point. Let's do the same thing over here. Okay, now fold along this diagonal. And we're going to fold this edge, or this point, to that point right there, where the diagonal hits this white triangle. Just like that. And then we're going to fold again like this. Using this outer edge as our guide to make a new crease. Now let's do the same thing on this side. So keep this folded. Fold this point to this point. And then fold through like this. and unfold. All right, now we're going to fold to a quarter, fold everything in half again. So fold the outer edge to this line. And fold the center line, or this middle line, to the outer edge. Oh, I got these flipped. So this should be like so. Like this. And then fold this to here. Alright, now do the same thing on this side. So fold the outer edge into this line, like so. And then fold this edge in like this. Now we're going to connect where this bisector hits this line and where this bisector hits that line we just made. So it's a small crease that you're just going to pinch point to point. Like so. Now do the same thing on this side. So just connect those 2 points. All right, now we're going to put some more midpoint lines or halfway lines in this area as well. So you can fold this guy over like this, then fold this to here, like that, then fold this one, we already have, then fold this one to here. Then do the same thing on this side, fold this edge to this line. Fold along this one we already have, and then again like so. Okay. Okay, now we're going to fold a bisector. We're going to fold this edge to this line to that line. So you grab this line and you fold a bisector like this. You only have to fold it this far. Now fold another bisector in the same way on the other side. Now where that bisector intersects with this line right here, this point, we're going to fold straight up parallel to the diagonal. So get that point. This is going to be a valley fold on the purple side. So get that point where the bisector hits this diagonal line right there. Right there. Now we're going to fold all the way. This has to be parallel with the diagonal. So get this point on the other diagonal and fold up from this point down to that point. Okay, now do the same thing on this side. Get that point that's right here. Start the crease at that point, and just make sure the paper is all lined up to make a 45-degree crease. Line up this point with the diagonal and fold straight across. So you can fold from this line over, and that'll give you enough. Okay, great. Now we're going to use that crease and fold it to the diagonal and make a bisector or a little pleat there. So take that crease, and I'm going to fold this in half to make it easier. I'm going to change the diagonal to a mountain fold. And then I'm going to take this crease that we just made and pleat it to the diagonal. Okay, just like that, see? Let's do it on this side. Alright, so make sure those creases go all the way to this 45 degree. See, it hits that point and that point, and also it goes up to here as well. Alright, so now let's do some folding, but we're still doing pre-creasing, sorry. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to fold along about 6 creases. So the first crease is, the first 3 creases are this big rabbit ear. And you have to change this crease to a mountain fold. Okay, like that. So this is just a normal rabbit ear. At least it looks like one at first. These 3 creases. But now, right when this crease splits off into the other diagonal, we're going to fold along that diagonal. See, so that's now 1 crease, 2 crease, 3 creases, 4 creases. And now the 5th crease is going to be this bisector right here. Like that, see? And now if you have those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creases, then you can lay it flat. Like so. And that'll make the 6th crease. Just like that. Alright, so now the reason why we did this is because this is going to set up a sink. We're going to pre-crease a sink that we're going to have to do later. So if you turn over the paper, you can see the pleats we made before. So fold along, here's the diagonal, right there. And then we've got 1 crease, which is a mountain fold, and this crease, a valley fold. So fold along the valley folds through all the layers. You can turn over the paper and fold this to the diagonal using the crease that we already have. Alright, now once you've got 1, 2, just fold back and forth along this outer edge. It gives you 1 more crease. And 2 more creases. And there you go. Now you've got your sink pre-sunk or pre-creased. So now unfold this one, unfold that one, unfold that one, unfold this one, and then just gently open up everything. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Start with those 3 creases. This rabbit ear, this rabbit ear, or this crease, this bisector. And here, this one got to change from valley fold to mountain folds. Alright, so we have those 3. You can see, 1, 2, 3, and that one. Now we're going to change it. We're going to grab the diagonal, the other diagonal, like that. And that crease, once it bumps into this crease at that point, then you just have to turn on this mountain folds. You can let that crease kind of run a little bit further. And then fold this one, the one that goes from this point. You have to change that to a valley folds. And there you go, that's that. Turn it over. Now we're going to make a valley fold like we did before along the pre-crease that we already have. Turn it over again, bring that crease to the crease we already had a moment ago. And now 2 more creases along that outer edge. So here's the first one. And here's the last one. Or we've just done 30 steps of pre-creasing. And we've got 15 more to go. Hope you've got it in you to keep going. Alright, looks pretty cool now, right? Okay, we're going to do a similar procedure now with these 2 molecules. So we're going to collapse, pre-crease, and then unfold. So look at this bisector and this little short crease. We're going to fold along those 2 creases. So first grab that one. Then we're going to fold along this valley fold. So let me lay this flat for you to see. So this part you don't need to lay, this crease, we don't have that crease. We have it between here and here. Then valley fold from this point across, like so. And then fold along this crease, which we already have, from there to there. And then we're going to make a new crease from this point like that to the edge. Make sure that this edge lines up with the edge behind it. Okay? You can lay this flat, but you don't have to do it sharp, just like that. Just gently pat it down. Now fold this edge to that edge, or that crease. Fold that edge to this crease, like that. And then fold this edge to that edge. So we're just going to fold through all those layers and fold it in 8. In just one fold to make it easier. Okay, so folding through all those layers. Open that up. Fold that forward and open that up. And now unfold. And there you go. That's now divided into 8 little parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, now same thing over here. So we fold along this bisector. Turn it over. Now we're going to fold along this crease, which used to be thought of as a blintz fold. Like that. And now fold along this crease, which we already have. And you can lay this part flat kind of softly. You only need everything from this line over to the right, press down flat. Everything over here can be loose. So, fold this edge over to that line. And now fold this edge to that line. Unfold everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a pre-crease for a sink we're going to do later. This makes it really neat if you do it this way. Okay, now we're going to add some small little creases, and then we're going to do a similar procedure for pre-sinking. So I want you to look down here where we have this small square, have this little fold. Now, look at, you have 3 bisectors. 1, 2, 3 bisector creases. Okay, so look at the second one right here, this one. And now notice where it intersects with several creases. It intersects with a long crease that goes all the way across, and these 2 short creases right here. So that point is what we're looking at. I'll just show you a little bit closer so maybe you can see. This is the point we're looking at right there. You can see how the bisector runs to there and intersects with this point. You see several creases intersect at that point. So we're going to find that point, and we're going to see how I'm going to hold the paper like this, perpendicular to this outside edge. Just keep your eye on that point. Pull up like that. Pinch on that point. Okay. Now we're going to make a crease that starts from that point and runs at 45 degrees. Just a short distance until it hits this bisector crease. So just from here to here. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Hit that point. Fold a short distance like that. Alright, so now we have that crease. We're going to make one more crease that goes that connects those 2 creases together from here. You can actually notice that the crease we just made should intersect with this sink. See? The crease we just made, which is right over here, from this point across. See how it ends right there? It ends right there and it starts right there. Okay, so we're going to make a crease that connects this point to that point on the other side. And look at that. See, this crease actually hits. See this bisector where the diagonal and those intersect? There you go. Alright, great. Now we're going to do the same exact thing we did before by taking those 3 creases and doing a collapse, or 4 creases. So you start with this bisector. Then you grab this bisector, and you can kind of make that one longer if you want to. Just gently. See how I'm making a soft crease? Now the 3rd crease is this one we already have. Goes from here straight across, parallel to the square's edge. I just changed that crease from a mountain to a valley. And then the 4th crease is when we just made that really short one, from there to there. Okay, so now all you need is like that, and you can just kind of gently pat that down. Okay, so what we're going to do now, which seems crazy, we're going to pre-crease just a little bit of this paper. So I'm going to hold it up closer to the camera for you to see. See what we've got going on here? We're going to use this point and that point as your guides here. So we're going to fold from this point across. I'm going to do it and then I'm going to lift it up to the camera to show you. Like this. See? So from that point across, just like that. Now you can turn it over and fold that edge or this point to that point. See? Okay, on the folds, you'll see the creases you just made. See? We just pre-crease that little sink. Do the same thing on this side. Grab the bisector, number 1. Bisector number 2 gets made a little bit longer. And then the third crease, we change it from mountain to valley. And the fourth crease is that short little crease, which we made a minute ago. Alright, so this stuff just gets gently patted down. Doesn't need to be sharp, just right here needs to be sharp. Now we're going to make that tiny little crease again. Like that, see? From that point over. Then you turn it over. And you fold this point to that point. Alright, open that up. Look at that. Okay, we're so close to being done now, so we just got to put in a few more creases. Alright, so we're going to do this pre-crease in a shortcut. So fold it in half like so. Then fold this bisector that we already have, like that. Alright, now we're going to do a petal fold. So use this mountain fold. Like this. And make a petal fold. Like that. You don't need to lay this flat. Just like this, see? So we folded this bisector and this one. That. Now we're going to fold this point to that point through all the layers. This point to that point. And unfold that and that. And you can see the creases we just made in the picture. Alright, now we're really almost done now. So this is the last one. This is pre-crease number 42 out of 45. So fold this like that. Now fold it back so that you use the first horizontal crease there as your guide. Like that. See how it's the same as the creases we just made? It meets up with that. Okay, now fold back again like so. Okay, now just reverse the first crease we just made. that. Now you can fold all this paper over like that. We don't need any of this paper, so fold that paper. And then fold this edge up like that along the crease we already have. Fold this in half. Fold this in half. Actually, I think we need one more, so fold this one in half and then like this. Okay, what the heck, we'll do this one too, just in case. Like that. Alright. Unfold those guys. Alright, that's it. That's all the pre-creasing for this. I sure hope. Now this is it. That's everything. Now we get to collapse. So I'm going to take a quick break and then we're going to do the collapse. Okay, so we're ready to collapse now. And before I do that, I'm going to put some tape along the diagonal of this piece of paper because this paper will probably tear during the last stages of the model. So I'm just taking some tape. I'm actually going to rip the tape in half like this. I'm going to put it here. And here. Put one right here. I'm going to put one over here too. I don't really think we're going to need it over here, so I'm not going to put it there. And that's all I'm going to do. Alright, so the first step is basically to make a shifted preliminary base. So we're going to fold this edge over like this. And then we're going to fold along this edge. Now fold along this diagonal. And this one. The spot where the tape is, I have to kind of reinforce the crease that's already there. Alright, so we've got that. Now, we take this part, fold it over, and then squash it down like this. Okay, now I'm going to actually open this up and squash it down like this. Alright, so this is going to be the color changed chest of the swallow. This is going to be the beak. And everything else is going to be everything else. So, now we're going to fold along. Let's see, what should we do first? Yeah, let's fold along these creases. So if you want to make it easier for yourself, you can kind of make a pre-crease like that. That connects this point and that point. You don't really have to though. And then we're going to use that to do a petal fold, just like a crane. Okay, so that's the petal fold. Nothing hard about that. You don't need to do anything with this paper. Okay, so now turn it over. And we're gonna switch this normal rabbit ear, this molecule, into a more complicated molecule by grabbing this diagonal crease like this, and then see, I popped that out. We're just gonna have to switch this crease to a mountain fold. Okay, so what I've got going on, just move that up. All the creases are already in there, so you don't have to worry about making any new creases. Now here, we just gotta invert this point. Like so. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we switch that. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side, so just take the diagonal, start with that. There. And push up here. Switch this crease to a mountain folds. And then just turn on this valley folds. Move that around like so. Okay, now we just gotta invert this point. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Now reverse this crease to a valley fold. Alright, so now we're symmetrical. Same on both sides. Like that. Easy, right? Alright. If you want, you can go like this, just to make everything lay flat. Okay, so now, believe it or not, the first thing we have to do is sink this molecule. So really the first thing. So let's go ahead and do it. This is going to be an open sink using all pre-creases that we have. So it's really easy. So I'm going to start by doing it as a closed sink, and then once I'm done, I'm just going to open it up. I find that to be the easiest method for doing this sink. So you see I'm doing the closed sink in this area, it's locked. Alright, so see, I just finished that. Now I'm just going to open it up where it's closed. I hope you know how to do an open sink. Okay, so that's that. Easy, right? Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so that's that closed sink done. Now I'm just gonna pop it open here. Okay. Alright. Just like that. So now I'm just gonna do spread squash. This part that has a 45-degree angle, I'm gonna do 2 spread squashes. One, two. Okay. Alright, hope you know how to do that. Alright, so now let's go ahead and do this part. This part's, you'd be surprised, but you have to do this right at the beginning. So we're going to take this flap and we're going to open sink it in and out to make the beak and the head. So there's actually a crease already there. You can see right here. We're going to start with that one. So mountain fold like that through that crease. And then you're just going to make a new crease. And there actually is already a crease here too, if you can feel it, or there's like some thickness in the bottom of the paper. Use that to fold it back up to make a small beak. You see the beak is quite short compared to the width of the head. Look how short that is. So just make that crease. Now you have to really make this crease really sharp. And I think it's helpful to, after you fold it this way, to kind of turn it over. So turn it over like this. Then make the valley folds into a mountain folds. And this mountain folds into a valley fold. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to open sink that. This is like an octagonal open sink, double sink. So open it up like this. This takes a while actually, so you can just watch. So this is how much you open it up. You can see I don't open up any of this, so I'll count the faces for you. There's this face, 1, 2, 3, and then the middle one. So you can see there's this one, the top face, 1, and then 2, 3, 4, and the same thing on this side, of course. 1, top one, 2, 3, and the bottom 4. So that's how much you're going to be opening it. Now my left hand right now is inside underneath this point, and what it's doing is there's some loose layers. I'm pushing those layers up against the top of the head. See, well, you can't see, but maybe you can notice the tension. So I'm pushing that in, and that's what's going to be my focus while I do the sink. So now we can start over here. So we're going to push down here and here. I'm just going to do this, and you can try and watch closely. Let me adjust this light so maybe you can see it a little better. Just try and make sure you keep these 2 points locked together like this, and then what you can do is you can just push kind of like a closed sink at first. And just push those little extra bits of paper down like that. So you see now I've got everything. I've got that shape. It's not an octagon actually, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it's a hexagon. Okay. Got it? Just like that. So that's the little sink that makes the beak. Okay, now we're going to separate the lower beak from the upper beak, which is not hard at all. So just open the white part up a little bit like this. Take this layer of paper. See how I'm just changing this, bisect this mountain fold into a valley fold. So I can wrap the paper around and change its color and separate it from the top beak. So that's one side. Now let's do the other side. Okay, just like that. Look at that, he's got a little open mouth now, right? Okay, great. So far, so good. Now, let's take this paper, and we're going to, actually, no, let's not get to that yet. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to wrap 2 pleat widths around, like this, watch. So you see how I wrap just 2 around there? I'm extending that crease over to here, to that point, and then there's a bisector, angle bisector, that runs from there to there. Okay, like that. Now, I wrapped it to here, now here as well, we're going to continue that crease like an open sink, like that. Do you see that? It doesn't really want to lay flat there, so you can just kind of continue that pleat like that. Okay, now we're doing the same thing over here. So you just come to the corner here and wrap 2 pleat widths around like that. And then run this crease all the way through like that. And then wrap these layers, this layer around as well. Okay, so now we have this shape. We're going to make a small center flap right here by incorporating some creases we already have. So we're going to take this layer, see we have this bisector here. Make the same thing on this side. Okay, so once you've got that, now fold the diagonal until you get to here. And then use this crease we already have, like that. See? Alright, just like that. Now this paper, this triangle right here, if you want to, you can just go like this, or you can just kind of just leave it like this. It really doesn't have to lay flat yet. Alright? Just like that. Alright, now we're going to sink this paper, which we've pre-creased, so it's easy. Just open that up, do this open sink. Open this paper here, and wrap this paper around like that. Okay, so you see how I've made that sink. I'll show that to you again, so you can see exactly the creases that I put in. Alright, so you see that sink. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Sink this paper. Alright, so you see how I did that? Open sinks on either side. All of it was pre-creased. You just have to fold along the creases that we've already made. Okay, great. Now this, I'll admit, is really the hard part because we put a lot of very small creases in this part of the paper and you kind of have to fold them all at once. So I'm going to show you how to do it and look closely. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to just pull out the paper a little because the goal is we're going to be making a center flap right here. So I'm opening the paper a little bit right there so I can look at these creases. So we've pre-creased a lot of this pre-sink, so I want you to look at that. Alright, I'm going to show the creases that I'm putting in on the screen so that you can have a good look at what I'm doing because it's probably too hard to see. But I'm going to go ahead and do it and then I'll show the lines on the screen in the top right corner. Alright, so let me see if I can describe to you what's going on about here. Alright, so we've got, this is how it's supposed to be set up, just like this. And now I've got to do that on the other side as well. I've got everything just about pre-creased now. Now I'm just going to lay it flat by pulling up gently in this space. Okay. You can go like this, just temporarily to lay it flat. All right. So now it's really complicated this part of the collapse. So, you know, if you can't quite get it perfectly and you can just kind of smush it a little bit, just get those layers in there. What's important is that you just get this flap. You see it's quite a long flap, and then there's just the one flap. That's why in the original design, one of the earlier revisions of this design, you'd have a short flap like this and then another little flap that poked out right there. And I really wanted that one long flap so that most of the tail, swallowtail, will get covered. As you can see here, see this flap really extends all the way to cover up most of the swallowtail. So that's why I have all those crazy little creases in there. So if you can't get it exactly, just try and focus on getting this one flap that comes out right about there, you can see. Okay? Great, so we've got this shape. Now we're getting really close to finishing the model. Okay, now that we're up to this stage, there's just a few more steps to go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sink along these pre-creases that we've made on either side. So it's going to be a closed sink. So first, before you sink, find this line right here, and then fold this corner in, like so, just up to that line. Just like that. Now, once you got that, you can just do a closed sink, or actually, it's going to be a closed sink right here and open everywhere else. So there we go. So just watch me sink this. I'm going to push down right here. Now I'm going to sink this last part. Okay. That's it. All sunk. Now to the same thing on the other side. So first, I'm going to fold this little corner against that crease. Just like that. Now we're going to open sink this in and out and in and out. Okay, now I'm going to sink this last part. Okay, that's it. That's all the sinking. So now I've got this narrow body. finally we just have to take care of this paper, and then we'll be done with the pre-creasing, or with the collapse. So first, I'm going to take the corner of the paper here. We can count how many lines there are. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the sixth one, I'm going to mount and fold all that paper in like this. Okay, like that. We're not going to need that paper. Now we're going to collapse this part. So open this up, and we're going to be using pre-creases that we've already made to collapse this. So we're going to take this portion of the paper and switch that to a mount and fold, see? And then push in like this. Now we're going to be using those creases we made before to make this look like basically like half of a bird base, or basically a quarter of a bird base. See, there's the first crease, there's the second crease, and then there's a bisector right there. So once you get up to this stage with this little box pleating shape here, we're going to do it on the other side the same way. So start with that part. Take that mount and fold like that, and push out there. So you have to push out this little gap right there. Then fold along this crease and this crease. Alright, and now you can see we're making the center flap pop out right there. Okay, see that? Just like that. Okay, perfect. Now we're just going to fold along these creases one at a time. So open it, hold it like this, and press down a little bit right there in the corner, like that, see? And then fold along the next pleat to make one of those little square shaped flaps. Okay. Now we're going to repeat that 2 more times. Just go like this, fold down a little bit like that. Okay, that's that. So now I've got 2 little flaps there. And then the last one. Just squash that down. Alright, that's that part. Perfect. Now you can fold all this down like so. See, the paper is pretty thick here. To make this model really beautiful, you need to use very thin paper. This is one model that I really recommend using origami dough paper by Michael Foss if you want to make a display model. You can find that on Nicholas Terry's paper shop online. Alright, so we've come a long way. Now we just need to do the wings, which is, I guess, the most exciting part. Okay, so first we can fold this like here, bisector, and fold this here. Unfold, and then we're going to fold the petal folds. Okay, now unfold that. We'll use that later. Okay, now we're going to fold one of these wings straight out. So open this up and make a crease that goes from the tip here all the way out to there. Okay, and do the same thing on this side. Alright, so the first part is to pre-crease, make this pre-crease. So fold this point to that point. Now make a crease that connects this point to where that point hits the edge there, just like so. And then as you do that, you can change that crease, this crease, to a mountain fold. Okay, so now we're going to be opening up the inside of the wing and doing a pretty complicated maneuver, so watch closely. So first we want to we're shifting these box pleating creases like so. So I'm opening that and then like that, see? And then you can lay that kind of flat. Just about like this. And now pull out this paper. Okay? See how I'm pulling that paper out? So this hole is opening up quite a bit. Okay, now I'm inverting this point like so, and I'm going to start to make these two mountain folds that run from the tip right here in this direction. So just watch. And I'm going to switch this to a mountain fold. See, as you look underneath here, you can see that I basically made this mountain fold that goes from the tip here, and then if you bring this in like so, now the next step is to just basically make a valley fold that runs from this point through the box plane, so basically at a 45-degree angle, like this. Okay, that's that step. That's the hard step, so you're probably going to have to work on that step for a while, but this is the result that you're looking for. You see? What we've done is we made it so we have this tip in the wing, which we're going to use to make that shape. Okay, so now let's do that on the other side also. So let's fold this point to that point. And now make a new crease that connects this point to this point. Okay. Now we're going to unfold some of these, or rearrange the pleats. So first you just push in like that. See, and then you pushed in here like that. Okay, like this. This part doesn't lay flat yet. Now we're going to open it up. And you see how I'm there's a little flap right here, and I'm pulling that in this direction. This little flap. Alright, so once that's opened up, you just reach like that. We're making these 2 new creases. See? You make that 45-degree angle crease that runs from here to that point right here. Okay, just like that. Right now, we're going to do something over here. So what I want you to do is push from right here. You see my left finger is pushing out there? Okay. And I'm making a mountain fold that goes from that point with the petal fold where these creases intersect right here, up to this point, which is right there on the other side. You can see that's a 45-degree angle crease. Okay, so once you do that, you can lay this back flat, and you can see it's going to have a shape like this on the inside. Okay, like that. Now the same thing over here. So you just push there, and you make a new crease that goes from that point right here, where my middle finger is, over to this intersection right here. Like so. And then you can just lay it flat. Like so. Alright, look at those wings. Now we get to make the pleats on the wings. All these cool lines, we're going to make those. Alright, so let's see if I can remember this. First thing you want to do is take this paper and fold it down behind like this. Do the same thing over here. Okay, now make a valley fold that runs from this point to that point. Actually, before we do that, let's do this. So, right here, at this point right here, we're going to wrap it around. We're going to invert that point. Okay, like that. And then you're going to make a mountain fold here, and then lay this flat. Okay. Okay, now the same thing over here. So just take this paper, this point right here, invert that point, and mountain fold along that line, make a new crease right there, change this to a mountain fold. This actually can go down like that. Alright, so you've got the wings on the bottom like that. They look like this on the top. Okay, so make a crease that goes from this point to that point. And you see I'm lifting up the paper from underneath. After I do this, I'm not going to lay the paper flat. See, now it's just flat like from here. and I'm not laying it flat. Okay, so once it's like that, I'm going to shift the paper so that this is now the point, like this. Now you see that we're making some extra slack here. You can just leave it. You don't have to lay it flat. Once you've got that, fold along that line in the opposite direction, like this. Okay, and we're going to sink that. Actually, let's wait for us. Just leave it like this. All right, we're going to use that crease later. Okay, first, take these pleats. Now we're going to shift each one at a time. So take this one. See how I'm shifting it so that the line hits the edge there. Okay, the second you start shifting it, everything will be 3D because you'll be making this slack here. So that's the second one. Here's the third one. Here's number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're going to make a crease right here, about the same distance, like that. And then you fold that up like so. Okay. Now I can do that on the other side too. So shift that one. And shift this one. 2. 3. Now make a new crease. And fold it up to there. Okay. Okay, now let's go back to this part. So we had it like this. See, there's a little bit of slack here. All right, so we're going to use that to make a little mountain fold right there, and make that valley fold like that. And if you have some more slack, well, let's first do the step. So you take that crease. Okay, that's sunk under there. Then we're going to make one more crease here. Like that. Okay. You can pull this paper out and make one more line right there. Okay. And this paper is just going to get mountain folded behind, like that. let's do it over here now. So first, valley fold so that you hit this point right here. Now, shift the paper so that you go to this point. Go from here to there. And once you go like that, you create this little bit of slack here. So we're going to make a little mountain fold there. Make a new crimp. So. Okay, now fold this guy back like that. And now sink it. Okay, so now we need a little bit more slack between this point and this point. Just grab some paper, make a pleat there. Okay. And then you can pull out one more over here. And I can just mountain fold that over, like that. Okay, looking good. Okay, now we need to create this color change part. So what I want you to do is this paper right here, grab 2 layers, see? Let me show you the layers. So that's 1 layer. That's 2 layers, see? So grab 2 layers and then invert this point. Wrap it around. See how I've got layers like this? Wrap that around just like this. Okay? Just like that. And do the same thing over here. So grab 2 layers. 1, 2. Okay, now this paper, we're just going to change the crease so that that's not sticking out. So see how this is got 45-degree crease, I'm switching it so that now it goes all the way in. See? You can just go like this actually if you want. Just go like that. See? You can either do it on just 1 layer, like I did here, or you can just do it on both layers and have it look like that. Okay, so now it's seamless and runs right into the body. Okay, we're getting close. Alright, turn over. Now we're going to take this paper and just bisect it. Here first, let's take this little corner and mountain fold it behind like that. And then just fold this edge up to that edge, like that. Take this paper here, get rid of it behind, and fold edge to edge. Okay. Now this paper, tell you the truth, is just too thick with this for this part. So just make a mountain fold that goes from here to there, and just fold through all the layers. Just push that down as much as you can. With thin paper, you can get that to look really sleek. Okay, so like that. Now mountain fold the paper from here to there. Now shift these layers over, shift one layer, two layers. That's really, you just kind of slide it out like that. Try to hide that white part. Okay, look at that. That's what a swallowtail looks like, just like that. See how they overlap each other? That's how it should look. Just like that. Okay. And finally, yeah, that's right, finally, the last thing we need to do, besides this, so just fold these corners over like that. Okay, and you can kind of fold this in and then out again to make an eye. Well, don't worry about that part because it's really, the paper's too thick. But just make a little eye with that part. Now here, this is where we make the body a little more thin. So make a little rabbit ear, or sorry, reverse fold right there. And then fold it in like this. Same thing over here. Do that little reverse fold. And fold this in like this. Now we're going to sink that. Okay, now we're going to sink this one. It's a closed sink, as you can see. Okay, both sides are now sunk. And now we're going to reach in here and make a little, just pinch a little bit of paper right there and put that back. What that does is make the body 3D. And I do the same thing here, so just kind of push in the white part, that, and fold back like so. And then you can round out the bottom here like that. Okay. So let's see, just fold a little bit of this up like that to make a little eye. You gotta pinch the beak a little bit to make it narrow. Alright, forgot about this. You just wanna, this paper is kind of ugly, so you gotta mount and fold that paper behind. Alright, now usually what I do is I reshape the wing a little bit to make it a little bit more narrow, but it looks good like this too. No, I guess, alright, let's just, it's just a little bit too big, so we're just going to make the edge of it go away. Like that. Alright. That is exactly how you fold this model. That is it. That's each and every single step to fold this tree swallow. If you want to make it look really beautiful, use some beautiful paper and you use little bits of glue and methyl cellulose everywhere. You can put wires in the wing or the tail to make it really rigid. But this is what you'll get with foil paper, 14-inch foil paper. This is actually a good size for a display model too. You can just use 14-inch handmade paper. You don't have to use any bigger paper. If you have any questions, you can ask. You can email me. If you find that any steps are very difficult, I can try and help you. And I recommend, if you want to make this model as beautiful as you want it to be, try folding it 2-3 times. I folded this model, I would say more than 10 times, more than 20 times, because even in the design phase, I folded it over and over and over again to get all the parts right. So, if you want it to look really nice, you've got to practice. Alright, I hope you had fun. Bye.